Chelsea.
And it's Charles D. Lincoln. And
yes.
Here we are with our episode 3 of our cinematic autopsies, Left Behind.
Left Behind. The original 2000 Left Behind, not the Nicolas Cage remake. The original.
Yes, the one, starring Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron. That's just gonna be the episode. Is just us doing that.
We're just gonna talk like this the whole time.
And directed by Vic Soren.
Yes.
Based on a book by Tim LaHaye.
Based on 16 books, right?
Well, yeah, 16 books. It's based on the first book of the series, Left Behind. So, let's talk a little about this film. Chelsea,
yes.
what did you think of Left Behind?
What did I think of Left Behind? I would have rather have been left behind than had to watch this movie.
Well, honestly, what really impressed me was that they managed to go and work the words "left behind" in the into the dialogue. Several times, in case we didn't know.
No, just in case you didn't know what the name of the movie was.
Yeah, but you know what, though? As a big Avengers Infinity War and Endgame fan, I was really impressed by this prequel. That talked about the day that Thanos did the snap. And,
yes. Yes. Don't spoil these things for me.
Yeah, so I was very impressed that so many years before Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, they handled the day that Thanos got rid of half the population. I was really impressed by that. So, we open with stock footage of Jerusalem that eventually just becomes stock photos. At a certain point, it's not even stock footage. It was just stock
photos.
Yeah, it was stock photos.
It was not footage at all.
Yeah, and I discovered, by the way, that all the Israel scenes were shot in a quarry in Canada.
Oh, really? That makes sense.
And apparently what they did was they rented out camels. And that's what makes you think it's the desert, because they rented camels.
Camels.
Yes, probably from a local zoo or something.
But notice how there are no cacti. There's nothing else that makes it a desert other than the camels.
Yes, because it was a quarry. I assume a rock quarry or something.
Yeah, definitely. And, but can we talk about, with these stock photos, how horrible the choice of font is?
Oh, of course.
Credits.
You know me and how much I hate fonts.
So it's something out of like a PowerPoint presentation that you had to make in junior high school, and it's a font that you picked, but they not only did they pick a horrible PowerPoint font, but also they capitalized the last names.
Yes.
The entire last name.
Well, that's to make them important. See, capitalization is often an important part of any credit sequence.
Yes.
It is, in all honesty. I mean, that's one of the things with our stuff is that sometimes I play with the capitalization on different things. Except I don't usually just make the last names capitalized.
No, you do it with purpose, and even if that purpose is just to fuck with people, at least there's purpose to it.
Yeah. So we open on Kirk Cameron playing Buck Williams, which sounds like a porn name, if ever there was a fucking porn name. And he's in Iowa. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean in Israel.
He's in Israel.
Yeah, he's in Israel with air quotes. When we see a lot of cut and paste bad PS1 choppers, tanks, and jets.
Yes.
Going to blow up. Coming from Iraq.
Yeah, no, it's just the worst, CG. I mean, of course it's not CGI, but it is the worst planes and tanks, montage I've ever seen. It's like they made them out of paper mache or something.
Yeah, and they're all in perfect formation.
Yes, they are.
They're all in like a little V, all of them. And, because the evil Muslims are going to blow up Israel. This movie makes a big deal of how evil Muslims are.
Yes.
It does. It really comes in with a very strong, current of Islamophobia. So, all of these bad CGI, not even... You know what? Calling them CGI.
That's just too nice.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like I'm being way too kind by calling them CGI.
Yes.
Like this is cut and paste. Like they took a picture of a jet
They took a picture of like a child's toy of a jet, like toy jet.
Yeah,
yes.
and just cut and pasted it over and over again to say, look at all these evil Muslims coming to blow up Israel. And then the sun goes dark, and they go into a bunker, and I will mention that bunker later. It's funny, when they're going to the bunker, Kirk Cameron is kind of wandering around like he doesn't know what a movie is.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like he's been on this, like, this is the first time he's seeing the set.
This is first time on a set, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't look like he's confused because they're being bombed. It looks like he's like, oh, shit, so this is the set, huh? Okay.
What is this?
Yeah, so the sun goes dark, a whole bunch of, then the planes suddenly all just kind of blow up in bad stock footage explosions.
Yeah, so they all explode before hitting the ground.
Yeah. And so when he's talking to this dude who is part of, and this is so ponderous, I almost didn't make notes on it because the plot is so.
You mean the God guy? I thought of him as like the God guy who comes
Oh no,
in.
not even him. The whole Eden Project, and somehow. They're able to feed the world, which is never explained how it's going to feed the world.
I didn't even write a single note about him.
Yeah, it looked like there's some project, and apparently it can feed the world, and they never explain how it can feed the world.
And they don't really ever say the guy's name either.
Yeah, like Shyam. Shyam, I think was his name.
I already forgot it.
Something. Yeah, it was a very Jewish name because they make a big deal of him selling out at the end of the movie to imply that Jews are evil as well.
That's why the Jews are also evil.
Yes. So God blows up all the planes, and then the reporter runs out to cover the bad, cut and paste GIF explosions. And
it has no fear for his life.
None whatsoever. And also this is like a recurring thing in films we're covering, are reporters that have no crew.
They have no crew, and this is the time before cell phones that videotaped everything.
Yeah, that they just have a camera with them, and they're able to just shoot right there, and then that footage, which looks like bad home movie footage, will then get on the news somehow.
Will go to live television all across the country.
Yeah, which I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. So he's out there, and then Moses appears. And
is it Moses? I wrote Moses God? I don't know.
I wrote Moses, because I have no idea who the fuck this dude was, but he just came on there and started just yelling biblical word salad at him, basically.
7 years.
Yeah, he just yelled bullshit and then walked off. And this is another dude who looked like he wasn't. It looked like they had no idea, like there was no direction for the guy.
They just found him on the street. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like he looked like he had no idea where he's supposed to be standing. He had no idea where the cameras are. And he had no idea where he's supposed to be facing.
Well, he's Moses. It's a different time period. He's never seen technology before. That's why, Charles.
Yeah. So then we just cut to Chicago, where we have a middle-aged dad's idea of secular music playing, and we go to Ray Steele, which is yet another porn name.
Oh God. You're right.
Think about it. Like Buck Williams, Ray Steele. That right there is a gay porn film.
Buck Williams, rails Ray Steele.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're going all the way in, left in his behind. So,
yeah, exactly. Left in his behind.
Yeah, so Ray Steele is an airline pilot. And his wife is talking to him about stuff I didn't care enough to take notes about.
No, and it's their son's birthday party, and how many balloons does one kid need? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's just covered head to toe with balloons.
Yeah, so he's going to from New York to London that night, and there's a guy named Reverend Bruce, and he comes by, and I just remember they get to the door, and he goes to kiss her goodbye. And it was the most awkward screen kiss I have ever seen.
It was so awkward.
It looked like the two actors were 100% uncomfortable kissing on camera.
Yeah, like they were actually brother and sister, and they got hired to play husband and wife, and they had to do it. Yeah, like it looked like they oh my God! It was not just anti-chemistry. It was like fucking. It looked like they were being forced to. Exactly. It looked like fucking family members being forced to kiss at gunpoint. And the dialogue was just so bad. But my favorite part about is so he gets called to go to London, right? And he says, "I'll be back in 3 days, and I watched it with my mother and her boyfriend." And all three of us at the same time went, "No, you won't."
So then he goes outside, and his daughter starts lecturing him on how mom is religious and I'm not religious. Oh, by the way, she has a nose ring, so that's how you know she's a sinner.
That's how you know she sinned. She has a belly shirt and a nose ring.
Yes, exactly. So, and then we go to a bullshit clandestine meeting that I didn't give a flying fuck about.
Is this with Rosenswag? No, this is with the guy with the thing in his watch.
With Dirk, yes.
Dirk. So, question. Was he just so excited about what he was talking about, or was he really high on cocaine? Do we know?
My notes are, I have no idea what is happening for about 10 minutes.
So just skip through this part of the movie,
yeah,
folks.
like he just starts ranting random conspiracies.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck is happening.
He has this disc, this circular disc on the inside of his watch. That's really the point. That has all these secret things on it.
Yeah, which I'll tell you, like that disc or whatever it was, I'm an old man. I remember a lot of old fucking formats. Like, I remember mini discs. I remember fucking little floppy tiny discs. Cassettes. Yeah, I remember, like, oh my god, I remember the fucking 7-inch floppy disks and shit, But I have no idea what the fuck that was. I have never seen whatever the fuck he had in there.
It doesn't exist. No, it's like I thought it was probably just like a camera battery or something,
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Because, like, watches used to have, because, hell, I'm old, I used to have a watch. Watches had batteries that were that size. So that's what I thought he was doing at first, was taking the battery out.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what exactly.
It was completely pointless, but the watch comes back into play later.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So we go now to Moses, who is now speaking Hebrew mysteriously.
Now Moses God is in Hebrew, and Kirk Cameron's like, but what? I swear it was English. Before.
Yeah. And then they cut to Nikolai Carpathia, who will be a very important character later on.
Nikolai Carpathia, and Carpathia also. What was his accent supposed to be? German.
I think he's Russian.
But Carpathia is the most English last name of all time.
Carpathia is a region of Transylvania, the Carpathian Mountains. So, but I don't know. I assumed his name is Nikolai, so maybe he's Russian? I don't know.
Right. It really wasn't that well thought out.
Yeah, but he is also the only one who seems to actually be having fun in this movie, by the way.
He is the only person who ever has fun.
Yeah. So we find out a universal currency is happening, and so I think one of the big major things this movie keeps kind of drill into people's heads is that peace is evil.
Yes.
And if you try to go and feed hungry people, that is the devil's work.
Yeah, no, I wrote down, that they're so not afraid to, like, kill children, so it doesn't... What did he say? If you want events to mirror your desires, you must create your own policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the two kind of bad dudes who are bankers, which is Christian right code word for Jews, basically.
Pretty much. Yes.
Yeah. Cochrane and Stonegal.
Damn, you paid more attention than I did.
and apparently, so Dirk, the guy who was ranting earlier, so they say that Dirk was talking about them, and they're going to punish him by taking away his pension and health benefits.
Yes. That is the one true way to be, greater than everyone else.
Yeah, which I think really shows a real problem in the American system, really, and I'm glad that this movie is handling that. So we now cut to Ray Steele, porn star, and he's on his a boat. I almost said he's on his plane. You know what? This movie, I'm really surprised it wasn't a boat, because this movie is that badly done.
You already have the Carpathia. You have Carpathia, which is the boat that the ship that came and saved all the living passengers from the Titanic. So you might as well just make the plane into a boat. You're like halfway there already.
Yeah, and there's a flight attendant named Hattie, which is a name I have never heard in my entire life. Neither. And Hattie is somehow going to join the UN, which makes I kept wondering what are her qualifications exactly, that she went from being a flight attendant to being a liaison at the UN. And we say that Buck put in a good word for her, but that doesn't actually mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean anything. Like, he doesn't work for the UN. He works for GNN.
Yes.
It's just the CNN logo, but it's a G.
Yeah, like here's the thing I'll tell you. Like, my mom was a flight attendant for years and years and years, and at no point did anyone ever say, you know what, you've been a flight attendant for years. You can go work at the UN.
You can go work at the UN now.
Like, it is never made clear what exactly Hattie's job at the UN is.
No,
she works at the UN.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we find out that Hattie and Ray were having an affair, at least, or maybe they were thinking of having an affair. The movie never made it clear.
They were definitely having an affair. I mean, just the comfortability. I mean, it was still awkward. I don't think that Ray Steele should ever be allowed to kiss anybody, just based on how terrible he is at it. But I think that they definitely done it before, and because he was upset that she was leaving, and she didn't tell him.
Yeah. So everybody's sleeping on the plane, and then Buck
also
wakes
there are
up.
So many pillows in the overhead compartments just available to everyone on this plane. I'm just saying.
Well, that unfortunately, Chelsea, is not an unrealistic thing. That is the 90s. That is before the airlines cut back on comforts. Do you know you used to be able to get food without them charging you, for fuck's sake?
That's crazy. But, but Buck is also, he's this world-class reporter, and he's in coach.
Yes.
He's flying coach.
Well, it looks like business class. It looks like business class he's in. He's not.
But there's people on either side of him. But there's seats, Yeah,
it looks like business class. It doesn't look like coach, because coach is where the children are disappearing.
Oh, yeah. So, children are disappearing. That's the whole premise of the fucking movie.
But like, Buck wakes up, and there's an old lady next to him. And who is obviously a sinner, by the way, because because her husband went, and she's still there, so who knows what this old lady got up to in her, 20s, and I assume she was, giving blowjobs in, the fucking Rosie the Riveter factories or whatever, or something. Whatever they were, when they were like, we can do it, and she was like, oh, damn well,
I've done
we
it.
can. And exactly, and so now when the rapture happens, she has to stay.
Oh yeah, for those of you who have not figured it out yet, this movie's about the rapture.
She gets left behind.
And so all these children just keep disappearing on the plane, but the clothes that all these people left behind, it's children and adults, and the clothes that they left behind are really the most hilarious thing of all, because they're perfectly propped up in their seats as they were. It's hilarious. Yeah.
And so everyone on the plane starts freaking out because 10 people, 5 people's children are missing. I'll be honest with you, I'm on a plane and a bunch of children missing. I don't give a shit. Ain't my kids.
Ain't my kids.
Yeah, fuck them. You know what? Children are loud and obnoxious and fucking distracting on a plane, and I'd be rather happy they're gone.
Yeah, right? So, but I felt bad. There are dogs that their owners go away, and I felt bad for all the dogs in the movie.
That was kind of sad. That was kind of
the saddest part of the movie.
So then a crazy guy decides he's going to open the emergency door for...
Yes, because he wants to get off the plane right now.
Yeah, because that's how that works. And, and so he gets, fucking, Kirk Cameron, Buck, I can't keep saying Buck, because I keep thinking of Buck, I keep thinking of, Buck Angel every time I say, Buck. So, Kirk Cameron, knocks the guy out or something, and the guy makes faces like he's coming.
Yes.
And, so then we cut to, Ray Steele's daughter, Chloe Steele, which is also a porn name.
Yes. And this is a car accident, a major pileup.
A major pileup of very well-preserved cars that are not dented in any way, shape, or form.
There's just random fires that are not a part of the cars at all.
Yeah, there's just random CG fires, and then someone randomly steals her car, even though there's all these other cars there. Mm-hmm. Which made me wonder, did she leave her keys there?
She must have.
Did she just get out of the car with her keys? In which case, why didn't they take any of the other cars?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Because if the Rapture took all these people, their keys would still be in their cars.
But exactly.
Even though these people look like they took the time to park their cars very kindly.
Yes, they did.
So she ends up, everybody freaks out. And I also noticed, by the way, only her car is stolen.
Yes,
only her car. None of the other Raptured people's cars are stolen whatsoever.
It's just the one person that's still here who was not injured in any way.
Yeah, so we cut back to the airport where there's lots of fighting and people who lost their kids. And there was the dog, and that made me very sad. And then we find out that the president died, and Nikolai Carpathia is stepping up to join the UN. Now, that made me wonder, is there no vice president in this world?
There's no vice president or secretary of state in this world whatsoever.
Yeah, because usually the head of the UN doesn't just step in if the president dies. There's a whole process. Yeah. There's actually, I think, probably about 40 people in succession in case the person before them was to die.
Yes. See, I gotta be honest, I was so distracted by the dog losing its owner that I completely missed the fact that the president died.
Yeah. So, and then Nikolai Carpathia gives a whole speech on how we have to go past our differences and work together, which of course means he's evil.
Yes, he's evil.
Because, going past our differences, is bad.
Yes.
Obviously. So, they're trying to figure out why this happened. Because in this world, no one secular has ever heard... Oh, excuse me. That was just my reaction to this film. Having acid reflux.
Acid reflux.
Yes. So, so no one in this film has ever heard of the Rapture because we're all godless heathens.
They can't
left
figure
here.
it out. They don't realize the innocent, godly people or people who practice the Catholic faith are gone and everyone else is still there. They just can't put that together for some reason.
Yeah, and so Ray and Buck go home and they shoot their porn, which I guess is in one of the deleted scenes.
Yes, it has to be.
Because, I'm sorry, Buck Williams, Ray Steele, they're boning. They're boning hard.
They have to be.
Oh God, yeah! I told you something's definitely left behind, and it's a movie about the condom and lube they used.
Yes, the only thing that was left behind was the integrity of this film.
Yes, so so now there's martial law declared, and the UN's going to shoot people, and so
people think it's Area 51 stuff. We should also add.
Yes,
that's what they think it is.
Yes. So Ray gets back home. His wife and his kids have disappeared. We know his wife was a good woman because she had a cross.
She had a cross on her clothes, and it was perfectly placed on top of her perfectly placed blouse.
Yes.
And her child was young and innocent, her little boy, so therefore he is gone as well.
Yes. Everyone really decided to fold their clothes before they got raptured. It was very nice of them.
So sweet, really.
Yeah. And so everyone's trying to figure it out when we all know the only logical explanation is Thanos.
Thanos is the way.
Infinity Gauntlet. Yes. So, you know what? I like to think of this movie as a prequel. As I said, it's a prequel, and eventually Ray Steele becomes Ebony Maw. He becomes, the guy who is like, oh, give your lives to our great Lord Thanos. And that is Ray Steele. Ray Steele. This is his origin story. So, there's a bunch... The thing that I kept thinking about was they keep showing these dying flowers in Ray Steele's house. And the whole thing I think was number one, why did these flowers die overnight? And why is Ray not watering them?
And how is the hamster okay, 2 days later?
Yeah, exactly. So, Buck has to get to New York, and there's all these people bidding thousands of dollars to get a flight because apparently cars stopped existing as well.
Yes.
I assume all the cars were raptured as well.
The cars were also raptured.
Yeah, and Buck bids $25,000 and to get a pilot. Now, the thing I kept thinking was it's really good that he carries $25,000 in pocket change, because unless he's writing a fucking check to this dude, where does he have this money?
And how are you going to get to a bank right now? Also, I just want to say before we keep going is that so he gets to the airport and the daughter is the one who brings him there, Ray Steele's daughter. Because she's still alive because she's a sinner, and she finds her dad, and dad by this point in like a couple of seconds has figured out that mom was right, and so now I'm a God person. And so he goes and he picks up the Bible, and Errol, my mom's boyfriend, said, "It's too late, buddy."
So, the funny thing is, and I kept thinking about this, that Ray is acting like, whenever you see a movie and there's a brainwashed character, and we know that this character is like someone who needs help, Ray is acting exactly like that character, but we're somehow supposed to think it's a good thing.
Yes, you're right.
Ray is a completely different character at this point. And he's just like a super fucking believer. And at this point, this is also when Chloe goes to her brother's old elementary school, which I remember thinking, so they're just letting people walk into an elementary school after all the children disappeared?
Yes.
So Buck is still Buck is in New York. He finds out that the dude who he was trying to visit is dead. And they don't originally, when they first show Dirk, they don't show the bullet wound in his chest. So at first, my first thought was, obviously he must have died of a heart attack when his pension and health benefits were
exactly.
So, knowing how much those things cost in America. So, and it also made me realize that Buck is a piece of shit because he finds out this guy dies and he does not immediately try to feed the guy's mouse.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Buck is just like, fuck that guy's mouse, man,
That's so fucked up.
So Buck is at the guy's computer. He takes the little disc and puts it in the computer. The little disc that, once again, I don't know what the fuck it is.
The little thing that came out of the watch.
Yeah, and there's a sniper who is able to see him no matter where he is in the apartment.
Yes.
Because I don't think the movie understands how angles and windows work.
No. I mean, this is about the rapture. There are no rules anymore.
Yes, exactly. It's all gone crazy. So then we see Reverend Bruce, who apparently didn't believe enough, is all freaking out at the exact moment that Ray arrives, by the way.
Oh, perfect timing, yes.
Yeah. And Ray's a believer, and he helps Reverend Bruce find his faith. And, and then they pray to heartwarming music.
Can I also just say that before they show up, before Ray shows up, the Reverend has knocked down the cross off the altar, right? And so when they're praying together and Ray Steele is trying to show the Reverend the way to the Lord, they look up in the same direction where the cross used to be, but there's nothing there for them to look at and pray at anymore. So I'm like, what are they looking at?
Chelsea, Jesus is everywhere.
Jesus is everywhere. You are right.
That's the great thing about Jesus being everywhere. It doesn't matter where your eye line is, because Jesus is everywhere.
This is so stupid.
That's the thing, man. If you're doing a Christian movie and the actors ask where's my eye line, I'm supposed to be praying. I'm like,
ever present eye line.
Wherever you feel like looking, man. The Lord is everywhere,
and also with you.
Yes. So, they basically tell, oh my God, the notes are just like, I'm not even paying attention here. So Nikolai Carpathia destroys all nuclear weapons because nuclear disarmament is evil.
Yeah, he thinks that it's because of the nuclear weapons. Well, that's what he convinces people of.
And they're going to feed people, which is also evil. Because fuck the poor.
Yeah, we can't feed the poor.
Obviously,
that was sacrilegious.
I mean, all those years in Catholic school and of course as a Catholic, I may not be a Catholic, but I was raised a Catholic, so that also makes me a heathen. I should note in the Left Behind books, Catholics are left too, because because we are not we're not celebrating the real.
So they're just taking Christians? They're just taking Christians? Okay.
Just the Pentecostals, because
they're fucked.
Theirs is the only true faith. Chelsea, I know you. You'd be fucked anyway.
I would be fucked anyway.
Yes. You and I ain't going nowhere if the fucking rapture happens. Trust me on that,
Chelsea.
We'll
just take every raptured person's dogs and take care of them forever.
So
that's heaven for me.
So Hattie, on her way to the UN, stops in Chicago to be really thirsty.
And shows up at Ray Steele's house while his child and wife are just gone, and she's like, okay.
Yeah, and she's just being super fucking thirsty at this point. And, meanwhile, I don't know, a dude from the CIA, NSA, some organization is meeting with...
Somebody once told me... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, someone is meeting with Ray Steele, and they're gonna expose those two dudes, and then an old lady stops Ray Steele Buck Williams for no reason whatsoever, and then the car blows up. And in fact, I wrote "car gonna blow up" in question mark, and then car blew up is my next.
That's funny. I wrote "car goes boom."
Yeah. So, and then the old lady gives him a look like she's in on it, which then makes me wonder, well, if that's true, why didn't why didn't they go and let him go in the car too so he could die?
Yeah.
So they start telling Buck that this is the rapture, and they give him a couple random Bible verses.
Thessalonians and a couple other ones, and they talk about the rise of the Antichrist.
Yeah, because they're watching an old videotape. And my favorite part is they show him an old videotape and then say to him, "This doesn't sound convincing to you?" And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Not at all. And then Buck is instantly converted.
He's instantly, oh yeah, Charles, I just said the rise of the Antichrist, and Dan just looked at me and pointed at me. Antichrist is here again. All right, we're all done. All right, go ahead.
So there's some very obvious ADR while Buck is going inside his bag. Buck, it's like his voice is perfect while he is moving up and down and rummaging through his bag. And Buck now ends up at the UN.
Buck is somehow now at the UN, where Hattie is brainwashed.
Yeah, where everybody... And I realized at this point, this thing is shot like a fucking soap opera.
It really is. And also, I just got to say that the skyline of Manhattan is horrific from this fake UN.
Oh,
it is so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So, at this point, we're going to have a prayer montage of Ray and his daughter praying. And then it cuts away from the prayer montage to see Buck in a bathroom learning that the Antichrist is real. And then it goes back to the prayer montage.
Yes, it does.
Which is just like, I don't even know what the fuck is happening. And the thing I kept noticing about the bathroom was that the bathroom door was different on its interior and exterior.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What the fuck? It's
a white door with little, latches. I don't know what you call them, but whatever it is. It's a white door on the inside, and then on the outside, it's an office door. A brown office door with no latch.
Oh my god, I had no idea. I was just like, I can't believe this is still happening. That's what I wrote. I wrote, why am I watching this?
Yeah, so they go to the UN's room, which is the exact same set as the Israeli Situation Room.
Yes, it is.
And
there are 10 world leaders left.
Yes, there's 10 world leaders left. And Natty is sitting, and because none of those countries have any sort of system to replace their current leaders. Just like there is no vice president.
Exactly.
Which I have to say, by the way, I looked it up, and in part 3 of the Left Behind movies, Louis Gossett Jr. is the president.
Why, God, why? Rapture me now.
Yeah, so Nicholas Carpathia is, exposing the two dudes because this is a porn. And
this is a god porn.
Yes. And then he suddenly gives a villain speech. Like, a crazy fucking villain speech.
Yes,
he does. As Buck realizes he's the Antichrist. And, I totally forgot one thing. When
the eating
Ray...
formula?
Yeah, no, not even that. There's a scene where Ray is talking to his daughter about, now Ray is a believer, and they lit him like he's a weird peeper.
Yes, they did. I was like, there's something incestuous going on with this guy and his child now. That's what I thought.
Like, it's the weirdest lighting. Like, they lit him where, his eyes are lit, and everything else is in shadow.
Yeah, I know. I was like, this is disgusting. My mom was like, ew, why'd they do that?
Yeah, it's lighting as if he's, looking at her as she's changing or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck, I don't even know what the fuck that choice was. So,
Yeah. Oh, also, did we say that? So, whatchamacallit, the plans now are for them to rebuild the temple. Rebuild the temple, and it's gonna be a temple of God of Solomon in Israel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to that. Now it's gonna be next to it.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. It's next to the mosque, so
next to the mosque,
so that the Jews and Muslims will be able to have peace finally.
To have peace and probably all die together.
Which is why it's evil, because peace is obviously an evil thing.
Peace and food are evil in this movie.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. So Buck, basically at this point, Buck fucked up and ruined the world. You know.
Yes, Buck ruins everything, and Hattie is at the UN table.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, Hattie went from being a fucking flight attendant to now she is suddenly sitting at the fucking UN
with world leaders.
Yeah, and there's also, and so, you know, Carpathia just goes crazy. He shoots a dude.
He shoots some dude,
and then uses fucking bad Antichrist mind control powers to make everyone think that they shot themselves. Yet, he has his bad Antichrist mind control powers, but somehow is unaware that Buck is not affected by this.
Exactly. Also, can I just say that from when he goes and shoots that guy at the world leaders table onward, the framing is so, like, it gets so slow. Did this happen to you that I could literally see the 24 frames in a second? It just was, like, horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was they probably used the wrong type. You know, they used a camera that's not meant for slow motion.
Yeah, it was really. You know? I was like, oh my god, I can count the frames.
In fact, once they're out of the room, there's a scene where everyone's jittery. Like the whole shot is just shaking, and it's just like, what the fuck? Like I don't know what the fuck happened to their footage there.
Yeah.
You know, because I know what would happen now with a digital camera, but now that I'm thinking about it, they wouldn't have used digital camera back then. They wouldn't have used
digital, no.
So I don't know what the fuck happened there. You know, so Buck goes to join the pod people at their secret church meeting, and that bad funk of closing credits plays.
The worst funk.
And then I paid attention to it, and the funk is the title track called Left Behind.
Oh, yeah, no, it was, I wrote, what the fuck? Why does this song say Left Behind?
Yeah, and it was just like a shitty, awful, forgettable fucking movie. Now, before anyone thinks I'm a hater, I should note that Tim LaHaye, the guy who wrote the novels, filed a breach of contract suit in July 1999 because he thought the movies were so fucking bad that they would not bring people to Christ.
Whoa. Well, so it worked.
Yeah, so he filed a lawsuit and eventually got the rights back, which is why the Nicolas Cage reboot happened. So, I should note, by the way, I wanted to ask you this question. Without looking it up, can you guess which character Nicolas Cage played?
He's Ray Steele.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage was Ray Steele because the whole movie is almost the plane.
Oh.
Yeah, the reboot is literally just him trying to get back to New York.
Whoa. Yeah, no, so my mother and her boyfriend have that on DVD, have that one.
Oh,
and they were
dear.
like, you want to watch this one next? And I was like, no. And then we started watching the sequel to the original. Because
Tribulation Force.
It's time to take down the Antichrist, and then the movie's just over.
Oh, yeah, well, it takes them like 8 books to do that. So it's like... you know, so I should note that I said the only actor who seemed to... by the way, Kirk Cameron is an awful fucking actor.
Is he? What TV show is he from?
He's from Growing Pains.
Growing Pains.
Yes.
Okay.
Where I should note on Growing Pains, he was such a piece of shit that there was an actress who got cast as his love interest.
Uh-huh.
And Kirk Cameron had her fired once he found out that she had once done Playboy.
Really?
Yeah, he called the producers of the show to have her... Sorry, not the producers. He called fucking the executives at ABC to have her fired. Because he found out that she had once done Playboy.
That's so fucked up.
Kirk Cameron apparently used to call the executives all the time because he didn't think the producers were doing what he wanted them to.
There are still people like that out there. Like, you and I can never actually work for Disney, ever.
I think we'd be able to. I think we could work within that system.
We'll just have to destroy the system and then become the system.
So, the actor Gordon Curry played Nikolai Carpathia.
Yes.
And and he apparently was actually in a whole bunch of different horror films.
Oh. One
he was
of
in,
us.
Yeah, he was in Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. He was in Puppet Master 4 and 5. And he also was in a movie called My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. Yeah.
I want to watch that.
So, he is also in a movie called The Sentinel.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and The Sentinel, however, he is not in the next movie we're going to be covering, which is also called The Sentinel. But
what?
It's a 1977 horror movie called The Sentinel, about a woman who moves to New York only to find that her apartment may have something awful about it. So that is going to be our next movie, 1977's The Sentinel.
He enjoys torturing me and not telling me what the movies are until this moment.
Oh, believe me, I don't like watching these either. So we suffer together, Chelsea.
Yes, we always have.
Yeah, so, in closing, how do you think Left Behind could have been made a better film?
Obviously by putting Nicolas Cage in it. You know what? As not a douchey religious person, but I love the history of religion and stuff. I really enjoyed the movie to an extent, but it could have been made better with better everything. Let's go with better names for a start, and let's go with I don't know, probably have someone rewrite the entire thing, which is what they were sued for.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, the very fact that the author of the book sued them because he thought this was so awful.
Yeah.
Should really tell you something. Yeah. You know, I mean, as much as Stephen King hates The Shining, he never sued Stanley Kubrick.
He never, no, he didn't. That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, so, that was a really funny thing I learned about this film. That,
That's so great.
lawsuit fucking happened because of it. But yeah, so, as far as I honestly think that, if you're gonna improve it, well, I guess they already did. Mm-hmm. The Nicolas Cage reboot is definitely an improvement, even if that is not a good movie either.
Yeah.
It is still a better movie than this was.
It is, most of the people, if you know us and you know our work, and you also know that I hate Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
So,
and the other note I wanted to make is that they also made another Left Behind movie that I have not seen.
What?
That's a spin-off that was made in 2016. That is supposed to be it's about like a youth group during the rapture.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that one, Nikolai Carpathia, is played by the brother of the fucking author.
Of course.
Yeah. So anyway,
thank you for listening.
We hope that you have you've found Christ.
We hope that you found the Christ.
Yes, as two godless heathens who were raised as. And I say that because we were raised Catholic, and to the people who made Left Behind, we were not real Christians.
No.
Even before I stopped believing, we were already damned.
We were already damned for all time.
Exactly, because apparently Catholics are idolaters because they have the Pope, and they have all the and that's the thing. Apparently, it's because of all the statues and stuff at Catholic churches.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And having the Pope, because that's apparently
all that idolatry.
Those are graven images, and those go against the first not the First Amendment.
The First Amendment. Let's go against the First Amendment.
They're trying to silence my freedom with their statues.
I'm not going to wear a mask. Open Cracker Barrel.
They're damn right. So anyway, this has been Two Proud Americans. Charles D. Lincoln.
I'm Chelsea. Let's say, give me some taters.
That's right. Born on the 4th of July. I hate communists and foreigners. and homosexuals.
Homosexuals. God,
Yeah.
oh, fuck. I'm doomed. I'm damned. Okay.
Yeah, oh, we totally are. Anyway, this is tune in next time for when we review The Sentinel.
Yeah, thank you. Have a
All
good
right.
one. Don't die.
All right. Bye.
Bye.